And at number 10, Tahira. After working as a stylist for Anna Kendrick, Tahira decided to make a TikTok exposing how terribly Kendrick treated her while they were working together. In the video, she rated the celebrities that she had worked with in the past, giving them a 1 to 10 rating. When she came to Kendrick, Tahira gave Anna Kendrick a rating of -100 out of 10 and called her a terrible person. The comments flooded asking her to give more details about the interaction, so she decided to make 2 more videos. In the first video, she said that in 2016, she was working as a stylist and her job was to put together some looks for one of Kendrick's book signings. Saying, quote, "She comes in, I'm walking her through the rack, she won't even speak to me. That's strike 1. I'm asking her, do you want to wear pants or do you want to wear a dress? She won't say anything. In the end, Kendrick just wore her own clothing. Then at the end of the event, it was part of Tahira's job to collect the gifts that Kendrick's fans left for her. After trying to give Kendrick this bag full of items, Kendrick told her to throw it all away, adding that she never even looks at the stuff. She described the whole interaction as a complete nightmare. And at number 9, Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick starred in the hit movie A Simple Favor together. So not only did they spend tons of time working together, they also had to be on the press tour with one another. Apparently that was a big issue for the women because they hated each other while filming the movie. And it was so bad that the studio executives had to get involved and mediate the tension between the women. In a TikTok, the page Celebrity Memoir Book Club claimed that when filming wrapped on the movie, Lively and Kendrick were not speaking. Adding, quote, "They were basically enemies and their press tours had to be booked separately." The user said they were not sure which actress was the one that started this feud because both women had been a part of feuds with their co-stars. The page even shared a private DM they received showing a studio executive at Lionsgate confirming basically everything the previous post said. This DM read, quote, "They hated each other. The studio even had to have a talk with them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious. And in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake, and even made us Photoshop her cleavage in The Simple Favor to be as big or bigger than Blake's." So from this comment, it seems that Anna Kendrick might be the reason for this feud. To prove their dislike for one another, during a press interview the women were speaking about Instagram and blocking. Anna Kendrick revealed that she once blocked Blake on Instagram. Then later she said she decided to mute her instead once that became an option. That whole interaction seemed a little too real to believe it was all playful banter. And at number 8, Ryan Reynolds. Since Anna is feuding with his wife Blake Lively, it makes sense that Ryan Reynolds would take his wife's side in this beef. Before this feud, Kendrick and Reynolds looked to be pretty friendly, co-starring in the movie The Voices together. Kendrick even brought up the past friendship in one of her digs towards Blake. In one interview, Anna Kendrick mentioned the fact that she worked with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, and she says that she once thought that Blake was nice, but doesn't now. It seems like a joke at first, but obviously could hint the tension going on behind the scenes. Blake then jokingly goes to touch her, then Anna sharply responds, "Don't touch me." Very strange behavior for co-stars and even more proof of a feud. And at number 7, Taylor Swift. So we've talked a lot about the feud between Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively that started on the set of A Simple Favor. Little known fact is that this alleged feud started because of Taylor Swift. Taylor and Blake are good friends. Taylor even used Blake's children's names in a few of her songs. So Blake didn't like it when Anna would trash Taylor on set. On September 1st of 2017, The Star published an article claiming that Kendrick was, quote, "always ribbing Lively for being a part of Swift's Girl Squad." This anonymous source maintained that, quote, "Blake didn't appreciate the constant questions or Anna's tone about the whole thing. Lively brought up how much she hated the comments, but Kendrick refused to stop for some reason." The insider claimed there was little hope the tension would be resolved, adding, quote, "It's going to be a long shot if Anna doesn't tone down the Taylor talk." And at number 6, McAfee. This is definitely a strange one, but Anna Kendrick was rated the #1 most dangerous person to search for online in 2020 by security company McAfee. This study is done every year to let customers know the best way they can protect their data online. They researched which famous names generate the riskiest search results that could potentially trigger consumers to unknowingly install malware on their devices. She was number 4 in 2019, but was bumped up to number 1 in 2020. The study assumed it was because of her role in Trolls World Tour. Even though her roles are pretty tame, the security agency concluded that searching for her name generated the most harmful links. Following Kendrick, the next most dangerous names are Sean Combs or P. Diddy, Blake Lively, and Mariah Carey. Halfway number 5, Barack Obama. Anna Kendrick found herself in a very strange situation when she ended up insulting the president and even called him an a-hole right to his face. Let me explain. Anna was on Stephen Colbert and explained the story behind how she met Barack Obama and made him double over with laughter during their meeting. During the conversation, Anna says that she was invited to a presidential event and showed up very early. Then during Obama's speech, he pointed her out and praised her for the movie Up in the Air. Afterward, when the two had a minute to chat, the president said he hoped that she hadn't felt singled out by him mentioning her movie, saying, quote, "I hope I didn't embarrass you earlier." Kendrick then responded, quote, "Yeah, you're such an a-hole." Then she mentioned how she was the first to arrive and that she was very punctual being from Maine. When Obama asked her if this was a thing, she replied, quote, "You didn't know that? You're the president." That entire interaction made the president double over with laughter, but it might have just been awkwardness. And at number 4, Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel's husband Justin Timberlake is on thin ice and their relationship is struggling because of constant rumors that he is cheating. Things were at a breaking point in 2019 when he was caught holding hands with Palmer co-star Alicia Wainwright during a night out in New Orleans. Timberlake confirmed he never cheated on his wife but did apologize for the inappropriate move. According to Life and Style, Biel is now keeping her husband, quote, "on a very short leash" when it comes to how much time he spends with other female co-stars, specifically Anna Kendrick, who was his co-star on his following movie. An alleged insider told the magazine that Biel doesn't want him out late or partying with Kendrick during their promo tour, and she's even given him a curfew. The source continued that if anything were to happen with Kendrick, their marriage would be over for good. And at number 3, Twilight execs. One of Anna Kendrick's breakout roles was the side character in the movie Twilight, and a very shady incident happened that the rumor mill has blamed on Kendrick. Before the second Twilight movie came out, called New Moon, a salon owner found a script to the upcoming movie in the trash outside her salon. The first question that was asked was, who would have thrown out a script as precious and top secret as this? And does this mean they didn't like the movie? It was exposed that the script was found outside of a hotel near St. Louis, where George Clooney and a bunch of other actors filming the movie Up in the Air were staying. Guess who was also filming that movie and also filmed Twilight? None other than Anna Kendrick. Nobody is sure why she did it, but everyone can agree it was not a good look. She's also trashed the movie during interviews, saying that filming the movie was like going through a trauma event. I'm sure her bosses didn't like her speaking of their movie that way. And at number 2, Rebel Wilson. Another massive franchise Kendrick was a part of was the Pitch Perfect series, but apparently a feud put a halt on the third movie. A clash between Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, and Elizabeth Banks reportedly is the reason the movie was pushed back. Then Banks decided to end her role as director. According to insiders, Anna and Rebel have been at the center of drama. Apparently Rebel was really mean to Kendrick during filming, and it made production very difficult. The source added, quote, "Rebel pretends to be this really laid-back funny girl, but in real life she's not like that at all. She can be really mean. And she was mean to Anna too. Rebel just couldn't hide her feelings and she was nasty to Anna. Everyone knows about it but no one does anything." Another source said that Kendrick was the reason that Banks quit her job directing. Apparently Kendrick wanted Banks out and she got her way in the end. The source said, quote, "Anna hates Elizabeth. That's why she left Pitch Perfect 3. The tension between them has been growing and it just reached a point where they couldn't deal with it anymore." And finally, number 1, Ben Richardson. Kendrick recently announced that she had been dating fellow A-lister and comedian Bill Hader for the last year, but before him, she dated musician Ben Richardson for 6 years. However, most people don't know this because she kept their relationship so secret. It was to a point where we think Richardson could have been resentful of their private relationship. Since Kendrick has starred alongside huge A-listers like Ryan Reynolds and Justin Timberlake, it's often rumored that her and these co-stars are more than friends, although she's never been officially accused of cheating. But often when speaking about cheating, the focus is on the relationships of the men that have wives, not the fact that Kendrick is unlikely to cheat because she's in her own relationship. We assume that's the case because nobody knows about her relationship. I'm sure that Richardson was sick of seeing the tabloids talk about Kendrick and never mentioned that she was taken.
At number 5, Oprah. I think out of all the celebrities in Hollywood, it could easily be said that Oprah is one of the nicest. She just gives off such a warm and inviting vibe and seems to get along with so many people that it's hard to imagine Oprah actually disliking someone. But apparently in special cases, she can be a little put off by someone. And one of those people who've rubbed Oprah the wrong way is Sarah Jessica Parker. When you look up people who hate Sarah Jessica, not many people show up, so you really have to go digging. So this little beef is a bit lesser known than others, so I'll tell you about it. Back in the day when Sarah Jessica Parker was on Oprah's show for an interview, Oprah was gushing to the actress about how she's such a hard worker, being able to juggle so much in life like being a working mom. While Sarah gave her honest opinion to Oprah's praise, the talk show host really didn't like what the actress had to say. Replying to Oprah's comment about how impressive Sarah is, the actress said, quote, "I have a lot of help. I mean, I have a lot of people helping me." End quote. While it was the honest truth, because she did have people who worked for her to help her out with her everyday tasks, Oprah really didn't like the actress not being humble. Oprah really didn't like it when rich celebrities brag about the perks of being famous and having a lot of money, and so she tried pressing Sarah Jessica to get her to admit something a little more humble, but it just never really worked. The subtle brags about being able to afford so much help just rubbed Oprah the wrong way, causing her to not like Sarah Jessica Parker too much. At number 4, Michelle Collins. Now this next one is kind of similar to why Oprah doesn't like Sarah Jessica Parker. As I mentioned before, Sarah has a team of people around to help her with her everyday activities. While this is very common among celebrities and other rich people, what may surprise people is how strict Sarah Jessica is with her own staff. Other celebrities have been exposed for this kind of thing in the past, like Mariah Carey being ultra mean to her staff, but this isn't something that someone would have expected from Sarah Jessica Parker, since she gives off such a kind demeanor. Turns out that she's a lot more strict than you might think, and comedian Michelle Collins exposed the actress for it. As part of her comedy skit, Michelle read some of Sarah Jessica's emails to her staff aloud, and it made people really think twice about the kind of person she really is. A lot of her demands were incredibly specific, like for example, Sarah requesting that a quote, tiny 1.75 ounce container of Vaseline with a small spoon or knife had to be made available for her children's use, and that this container couldn't be too big as to not clutter up the space. On top of that, she also requested that a quote, bottle of face wash and Neutrogena body wash be continuously replenished for her son James in his shower. Collins even read out the instructions for Sarah's kids' eye drops and how hard the kids should blink. Michelle exposed Sarah for being a behind-the-scenes diva, so maybe this had malicious intent behind it because the demands were just so ridiculous. Before we carry on talking about people who haven't been too fond of Sarah Jessica Parker, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 3, Robert Downey Jr. Did you know that back in the 80s, Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr. used to date? Because for a long time, I had no idea. But yeah, they were in a long-term relationship until everything came crashing down. On the surface, it looked like they were madly in love, which in a way they were, and in one interview from back in the day, RDJ even said that he hoped to marry Sarah in the near future, but clearly that never happened. Now you might be wondering, if he wanted to marry her, then why did they end up breaking up, and does Robert really hate Sarah? Well, the reason for their breakup was Robert's substance abuse. It destroyed their relationship, and after a long time of watching Robert go through this hard time, she finally plucked up the courage to leave him. Looking back on it, Robert has said that he doesn't blame her for leaving because he treated her so badly back then. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Robert actually hated Sarah, because he did have a lot of love for her when they were together, but he was the reason for the toxicity in their relationship, which certainly didn't make things very nice. Robert's father credits Sarah Jessica Parker for saving his son's life, because he said that without her, RDJ would have probably died. Their relationship was quite tumultuous to say the least, but in the years since, they've been able to reconcile, and they're now good friends who've each moved on. At number 2, fans. Now, although they aren't exactly celebrities, there is still a lot of negativity and hate amongst Sarah Jessica Parker's fans, as well as fans of Sex and the City. Many people have a number of reasons as to why they dislike the actress so much, and a lot of it stems from the character that she's known for. Carrie Bradshaw is a character that people either love or hate. Many fans say that they just can't stand her because of how unrelatable she is. They didn't like the way that the character carried herself, making everything a bigger deal than it needed to be, always being involved in some kind of petty drama, and not being very humble about her lavish life. As a result of the negative aspects of Carrie's character, some fans have linked that to Sarah Jessica Parker, and this has created a lot of hate for the actress. The other thing that people use against Sarah Jessica is her appearance. Many people online have said that they hate the actress because of the way that she looks, which really shouldn't be a factor of whether or not you like someone. I think this could be a real case of fans forgetting that the actor and the character are two different people. While yes, sometimes an actor can pick up traits from the character they play, especially if they've been playing that character for a long time, but again, that can't be a reason to hate someone. And finally, at number 1, Kim Cattrall. When Sex and the City was at its peak, everyone just pretty much assumed that the leading ladies were all best friends because they looked like such close friends on TV, but years after the show and movies ended, we found out that this definitely was not the case. case. After the third movie was taken off the table because of Kim Cattrall's refusal to do the film, this is when the truth of the matter started to show and people found out about the huge feud between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker. The feud really came to a head after Cattrall's brother passed away, and Sarah Jessica Parker wrote a message of condolence to her former colleague on social media. Cattrall was not having it and didn't want any kind of sympathy from her arch-enemy, and clapped back to Sarah's message by writing, quote, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of just how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear. You are not my friend. I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." This made it abundantly clear that there was a lot of built-up tension between the two actresses. Cattrall has addressed the fight numerous times, saying that the mean girl culture of the show is really what destroyed it and doesn't look to be close to putting this drama behind them anytime soon.
And at number 10, Damon Albarn. Musician Damon Albarn got together to collaborate on some tracks on Adele's 2015 album 25, but unfortunately it did not go as planned, and the pair ended on pretty bad terms. He even said in the interview that he will never collaborate with Adele again. In an interview with The Sun at that time, Albarn said, quote, "Adele asked me to work with her and I took the time out for her. And I'm not a producer, so I don't know what is happening really. Will she use any of this stuff? I don't think so. Let's wait and see. The thing is, she's very insecure and she doesn't need to be. She's still so young." Albarn also described her new music as middle of the road. Following his interview, Adele clapped back, saying, quote, "It ended up being one of those don't meet your idol moments. The saddest thing was that I was such a big Blur fan growing up, but it was sad and I regret hanging out with him." Albarn later clarified in a different interview that his words were taken out of context and they were misinterpreted to sound mean. But that kind of seems like BS to me, and it's clear the pair did not like each other. And at number 9, Jamie Oliver. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver got in a strange feud with Adele after he made some comments about breastfeeding. Oliver spoke about the topic during a radio interview where he said, quote, "The UK has the worst breastfeeding in the world," and saying, quote, "It's easy, it's more convenient, it's more nutritious, it's better, it's free." But this did not sit well with Adele, and during a concert Adele responded saying, quote, "The pressure on us is effing ridiculous, and all those people who put pressure on us can go F yourselves, right? Because it's hard. Some of us can't do it." Following the comments, fans put 2 and 2 together, and Oliver got backlash for mansplaining a woman's issue. And at number 8, Matt Doran. Adele got into a feud with reporter Matt Doran after it was reported that she stormed out of their press interview for her new album once he admitted that he didn't listen to the album in full. Australia's Daily Telegraph revealed that Channel 7's Matt Doran came to London specifically for this 20 to 30 minute interview in an over $600,000 deal. Reportedly halfway through the interview, Adele noticed that he was struggling to express an opinion of his own, then she flat out asked if he had listened to the album. And when he said no, she walked off and ended the interview early. Sony later refused to allow footage of the interview to be used, and Doran was suspended for 2 weeks. This embarrassing blunder then went viral, with Adele fans roasting Doran online for days. However, Doran later exposed that the whole story was a lie and he was never kicked out of the interview. Rather, the conversation actually went overtime. Doran also stood by the contents of the interview and said he is, quote, "devastated that her fans are being denied this interview." And at number 7, Taylor Swift. This is another feud that we're not sure is real or not, but it seems there's been some shade thrown between these two singers for years. After Adele beat out Taylor for a Golden Globe in 2013, Adele made a bit of a shady dig when Adele jokingly said that she has a squad, but they aren't models, clearly taking a dig at Taylor's model squad. Then this year it was reported that Taylor Swift was furious that Adele might be stepping into pop music with her new album. A source said, quote, "Taylor Swift is not happy that Adele is apparently taking a new direction for her next album, because it means that she could be stealing her pop princess crown." Apparently, Swift is giving no help to Adele with this potential crossover either. The source added, quote, "Should this rivalry go public, it's going to get messy. It's probably best for Taylor to keep her copycat concerns to herself." And at number 6, Ernest Owens. Adele got major backlash after she posted a photo in Bantu knots to celebrate the UK's Notting Hill Carnival, and journalist Ernest Owens was one of the people who did not approve. In the UK, they celebrate something called the Notting Hill Carnival, where people will share their pride about being a British person with Caribbean descent. Adele shocked the world when she showed up wearing a Jamaican flag, print bikini, and Bantu knots in her hair, a style worn traditionally by black women in the region. Her shocking 100-pound weight loss was easily overshadowed by the backlash that she received, with people calling the move cultural appropriation. After waves of backlash, she told British Vogue, quote, "I didn't read the effing room." And in hindsight, she completely understands why the backlash occurred. Adele also decided to not take down the photo, a move which she says was to let people know she was not trying to brush it under the rug. Owens tweeted at the time, quote, "If 2020 couldn't get any more bizarre, Adele is giving us Bantu knots and cultural appropriation that nobody asked for. This officially marks all of the top white women in pop as problematic. Hate to see it." Halfway number 5, Beyonce. Since Adele took home Album of the Year at the 2017 Grammys, fans are convinced that Beyonce and Adele do not like each other, mainly because they are very competitive. After Adele won in 2017 instead of Beyonce, fans were really fed up and claimed that Adele was somewhat patronizing in her acceptance speech. On that night, Adele won all 5 of the awards she was nominated for, while Beyonce only won 2 of 9 of her nominations. During her speech, Adele made sure to shout out Beyonce and say that she believed Beyonce deserved the award more. Although some fans found the moment completely genuine and heartfelt, many did not. Some fans claim that if Adele really felt that way, she should have invited Beyonce on stage to say her acceptance speech with her. Some Beyonce fans even claim that Adele could have just denied the award and forced the Grammys to give it to Beyonce. One fan tweeted after the show, quote, "Even Adele admitted that Beyonce should have won Album of the Year." Many Beyonce fans think that she did not appreciate being put on blast, and the whole thing made Adele look like a white woman's savior. And at number 4, Peppa Pig. Easily the strangest beef Adele has been in was with Peppa Pig. In an Instagram Live where Adele was promoting her upcoming album 30, a fan asked if she would ever collaborate with Peppa, and Adele savagely said no. Then later on during an interview with Capital FM, Adele was confronted by Peppa, who called her out for the comments. The interviewers asked Adele about her comments, then showed a clip of a cartoon Peppa saying, quote, "Hello Adele, that made me really sad when you said you wouldn't collaborate with me. Why not? Don't you like me?" Adele was obviously shocked and responded, quote, "But Peppa, I regret it. I spent 3 years watching you. I really regret any time you want to go jumping in muddy puddles and sing Muddy Muddles. I'm with you, babes. I felt terrible the second I said it." So thankfully that beef was cleared up. And at number 3, Bruno Mars. Singer and producer Bruno Mars had some eyebrow-raising things to say about Adele after they collaborated on her song All I Ask. He of course sang her praises for her amazing talent, but he also made sure to include that she can be a bit of a diva. He said in the interview, quote, "She's a superstar. She walks into the studio, she's got all this attitude, she's a diva, and she's like, I don't want to do this, I don't like that." Then as soon as we hit a couple chords that she liked, we started rolling, and that's where we got that song from. But of course he praised how talented that she is, saying that there is a moment that she was in the booth singing when the water started to vibrate. And of course he would love to work with her again. He said he's just waiting for her to call on him again. It's unclear if he meant that she was a diva in an endearing way, or if he meant to throw some shade her way. And at number 2, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is known for his controversial opinions on news and pop culture, and his stances on Adele have gotten him in hot water. In November, Piers published a scathing rant against Adele and her decision to include her son on her latest album 30, claiming that she shared her son's heartache and pain to promote the last album. Morgan claimed it was hypocritical because Adele had fought for her son's privacy in the past. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "Sorry Adele, you're a great singer, but sharing your young son's heartache and pain with the entire world to flog your album is shameful and the rankest hypocrisy." Morgan claimed that Adele asked for privacy when it comes to her separation and other personal matters, but then she turns around and exposes those intimate details when it serves her to promote and sell albums. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "All this hypocrisy is par for the course with today's oversharing celebrities who love to reveal every prudent detail of their lives for commercial gain while simultaneously demanding privacy," adding, quote, "This is the same Adele who went to court to protect her son's privacy when he was just 1, winning him a substantial 5-figure sum in damages over paparazzi photographs." And finally, number 1, Simon Konecki. I'm sure that Adele's ex-husband does not hate her, but I'm sure he's not pleased with some of the things that she shared about their marriage in the press or on her latest album. In September of 2019, Adele filed for divorce from Konecki. When speaking about the marriage, she told Vogue, quote, "I was just going through the motions and I wasn't happy. Neither of us did anything wrong, neither of us hurt each other or anything like that. It was just, I want my son to see me really in love and be loved. It's really important to me." Then when she approached her 30s, she felt she wanted more out of life than what she had at the time. The divorce was hardest for her 9-year-old son, Angelo. Adele added, quote, "He had so many simple questions for me that I can't answer because I don't know the answer." Adele also shared that she thinks her son might hate her for her decision later in life.
At number 10, Keke Palmer. So many people have opinions on the Kar Jenners. The way they look, the way they act, their business, everything. A lot of people don't like them for a number of reasons, but actress Keke Palmer has blatantly come out and talked about why she dislikes the Kar Jenners, specifically Kylie. Keke has shown sympathy in the past for Kylie because of the insecurities that Kylie has professed, but Keke isn't too fond of how Kylie went about dealing with those insecurities. A lot of the Kar Jenners show off their appearances all the time, and many of them have had plastic surgery, but Keke doesn't seem to like that Kylie flaunted how she changed her appearance like her sisters. The actress believes that Kylie went about dealing with her insecurities in the wrong way, and she hates the fact that she's been praised for this paid glow up. In an interview, Keke spoke out about all of this where she said, quote, "In the sense of the Kardashians, it's like, I'm going to show you so much perfect and be everything a woman should be or everything a man would like or love. Specifically in the situation of Kylie, where you've had a young girl people have seen on television since she was a kid and they literally told her she was so ugly, the ugly person in the family. She went and did apparently everything the world deemed as beautiful. The even crazier part is that everybody loves her for it." End quote. Keke has deemed Kylie inauthentic, and that's why she dislikes her so much.
And at number 9, Kylie Minogue. Before there was Kylie Jenner, Kylie Minogue was the most famous Kylie. But in 2015, Jenner tried to trademark the name Kylie and Minogue fought back. The Australian pop star shaded Jenner when she tried to trademark their first name. According to the US Patent and Trademark Office, in 2015 Jenner tried to register Kylie in the US for advertising services and endorsement services. But Kylie Minogue's team filed their own charges to ensure the trademark did not go through. Minogue claimed it would, quote, damage her own reputation. In the legal documents, Minogue's team classified Jenner as a, quote, secondary reality television personality known for her, quote, photographic exhibitionism and controversial posts on social media. Very savage. Then Minogue tweeted, quote, "Hello, my name is Kylie, #lightyears," insinuating that she was here way before Jenner. After this whole debacle, it's clear the two do not like each other.
At number 8, Madison Beer. There are a handful of people in Hollywood who have their grievances with Kylie's beauty brand. In the past, she's been accused of copying the same packaging as Jeffree Star's makeup brand, but she's also had some beef with Madison Beer because the singer accused Kylie of stealing Madison's purple palette idea from back in 2017. In October of 2017, Kylie released her purple palette from her Kylie Cosmetics brand, and soon after the collection was made public, Madison shaded Kylie on Instagram, alleging that Kylie betrayed her. Madison posted on Instagram saying, quote, "When people fully steal your idea and they come out with what was supposed to be a collab, whack," end quote. Though the collab between Madison and Kylie was never confirmed, Madison appeared to have hinted at it back in March of 2017 when talking to paparazzi. I could imagine how hurt you would feel if you worked on something just for it all to fall through with you but still be sold. That would be a serious punch to the gut. When a follower called Madison out on being salty about the whole ordeal and that she didn't invent purple eyeshadow, the singer clapped back saying, quote, "You sound very unintelligent. Who in their right mind would think they invented an eyeshadow color or shade? That is not at all in any way what I said or even slightly implied," end quote. Apparently, Kylie and Madison were friends before all of this happened, so I wonder if they're over it now or if that ruined their friendship.
And at number 7, Paris Jackson. Kendall and Kylie got tons of backlash when they released a series of vintage t-shirts for their clothing line, and photos of legends like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, and the Doors and Ozzy Osbourne were beside their own on the shirts. Tons of celebrities called out the sisters for their tone-deaf decision, including Paris Jackson, the daughter of the late Michael Jackson. Paris took to Twitter and wrote, quote, "As a huge fan of Zeppelin, The Doors, Floyd, I mean these bands literally helped shape who I am today. I can't condone this fashion. Legends like these who completely changed our world today, not just the music world, should be respected and honored, not turned into this. Pink Floyd is not Chanel, Led Zeppelin is not Michael Kors, Metallica is not Givenchy, don't get it twisted. #bands not brands and #respect music." Along with getting tons of heat, the sisters were also slapped with multiple lawsuits, so they decided to stop selling the shirts shortly after their release.
At number 6, Selena Gomez. Another celebrity who seems to have had beef with Kylie is former Disney star Selena Gomez. Turns out that Selena had an on and off again friendship with the Jenner sisters, and it all stemmed from Justin Bieber. During the time that Selena and Justin were a thing, Selena started feeling a little iffy about Kylie specifically because she thought that Kylie was flirting with Justin. Selena and Kylie apparently got into a confrontation in 2014 because of it, and it all went down at Justin's house. According to sources, what happened that evening was that Kylie allegedly, quote, sent sexy pics of herself to Justin, and that's what started the fight. Selena saw the pictures on Justin's phone and she freaked out and immediately left, end quote. The source also commented on the Jenner sisters saying, quote, "Kylie and Kendall live in such a fantasy world with what the show has turned their family into. At the end of the day, Selena was just there to be a part of the show and enhance their brand rather than being legit friends. Thankfully, Selena realized that she was being used and got out." End quote. Some sources also claim that Selena stopped being friends with the Jenners because of their use of substances, drinking, and partying, but the Jenners have denied those claims.
Halfway number 5, Lourdes Leon. Lourdes Leon, daughter of Madonna, dissed Kylie after Lourdes was invited to Kylie's birthday party in 2015. Apparently, she finds the Kardashian family vile and was horrified about the invite. A source revealed that Lourdes shaded Kylie over her social media activity and selfie taking. After she received the invite, a source exposed, quote, "She couldn't believe Kylie thought that she'd be receptive to a party invite and has completely ignored her. As far as Lourdes is concerned, she's not going to lower herself to even responding," adding that Lourdes is very picky about who she spends her time with and Kylie doesn't make the cut. The source added that Lourdes' friends are, quote, "much more interested in changing the world than in taking selfies." And in my opinion, you must really hate someone if the thought of them inviting you to their birthday leaves you horrified.
At number 4, Amber Rose. The Kardashians have caused a lot of tension in the past in case of their relationships. There's been so much drama with cheating, rumors, babies, and so much more, so it's not surprising to know that Kylie is hated because of relationship quarrels. Amber Rose has had some harsh things to say about Kylie in the past, especially when it came to her relationship with rapper Tyga. Tyga had left Blac Chyna, the mother of his son, for Kylie, and Amber did not approve of that at all. During a radio interview, Amber spoke out about that drama when she said, quote, "She's a baby, she needs to go to bed at 7 o'clock and relax. That's ridiculous. Tyga should be ashamed of himself. That's how I feel, for sure. He has a beautiful woman and a baby and left that all for a 16-year-old who just turned 17. End quote. Amber wasn't the only one to comment on Kylie and Tyga's relationship, but her commentary definitely had some heat.
And at number 3, Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has been coming for Kylie publicly ever since she came out with an online makeup company that was a competitor to Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Their feud is totally one-sided, but I'm sure that Kylie has seen all the shade that Jeffree has dished out. Back when Jeffree was famous for his makeup reviews, he reviewed Kylie Cosmetics on multiple occasions, and more often than not, he trashed her products. When reviewing her over $300 brush set, he called it cheap dollar store product. Jeffree and Shane Dawson also trashed Kylie's skin in their review, where they called the products drying, irritating, and overpriced. Jeffree even shaded Kylie's Forbes cover, where she was declared the world's youngest self-made billionaire. He said, quote, "I declined the feature, so they had to pick someone."
At number 2, Amanda Stenberg. The most common scandal that the Kardashians seem to get involved in is something involving cultural appropriation. Many of the Kardashians have been accused of appropriating black culture and blackfishing, and Kylie seems to be one of the worst offenders when it comes to these things. The internet has got really fired up when Kylie was seen wearing cornrows, and actress Amanda Stenberg went off on Kylie for it. The Hunger Games actress tweeted saying, quote, "When you appropriate black features and culture but fail to use your position of power to help black Americans by directing attention towards your wigs instead of police brutality or racism, hashtag white girls do it better." End quote. On top of that, Amanda also posted a video titled "Don't Cash Crop on My Cornrow," explaining that, quote, "The line between cultural appropriation and cultural exchange is always going to be blurred, but here's the thing. Appropriation occurs when a style leads to racist generalizations or stereotypes where it originated but deemed high fashion, cool, or funny when the privileged take it for themselves." End quote. Amanda already took a disliking towards Kylie after that, but that didn't seem to do much because she kept posting in cornrows after that.
And finally at number 1, Blac Chyna. There is absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind that Blac Chyna hates Kylie Jenner. I think pretty much anyone would hate the woman that your boyfriend left you for. Back in 2014, Blac Chyna was in a long-term relationship with Tyga. The pair even had a son together. But that all changed when Kylie came into the picture and Tyga left Chyna for a 16-year-old Kylie. Kylie and Tyga dated for 2 years before splitting. At this time, tons of Chyna's friends and family were shading Kylie for breaking up a family, including Amber Rose. Apparently, Kim Kardashian was even friends with Chyna while she was with Tyga, and Kim said that Chyna was devastated when she found out that Tyga was leaving her and their 3-year-old son King Cairo for Kylie. Years later, Chyna would get in a long-term relationship with Rob Kardashian, Kylie's half-brother, and have a child with him. Some even speculate that Blac Chyna got with Rob purely out of spite so she could make Kylie's life hell. Starting off this countdown, we have Miley Cyrus. Apparently, Miley Cyrus has never been a fan of Mariah Carey. In a 2016 Elle cover story, Miley said, and I quote, "I've never really been a fan because it's so much about Mariah Carey. That's part of her shtick. I can see through it. That's part of what makes her a gay icon. Like, it's about Mimi, it's about what she's wearing, and it's about her." Miley continued on saying, "What I make isn't about me, it's about sharing my story. It's about someone being connected to what I'm saying. That's why you don't see me like on the side of buses selling I mean, what am I gonna do, sell makeup?" And that was a jab towards Mariah and her deal with MAC Cosmetics holiday line. Yikes, Miley went off. Coming in at number 9, we have Madonna. This might just be the worst insult someone could ever receive. Back in the 1990s, Madonna said that she'd rather kill herself than be Mariah Carey. She then proceeded on saying that Mariah wasn't the brightest. Continuing on, in 1996, in an interview with Spin, Madonna said that Mariah's work is anything other than serious art. Wow, Madonna did not hold back at all. In our 8th spot, we have Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is an American music executive and producer. He was the chairman and CEO of Sony Music Entertainment for nearly 15 years. Now he's in charge of Casablanca Records with Universal. He is also Mariah Carey's ex-husband. After the two split, things got messy for Mariah. He literally tried to sabotage her and destroy her career. He must have really hated her in order for him to do that. Like, for example, the whole J-Lo and Mariah feud is said to be started because of him. It started when J-Lo released a song with a sample that Mariah was already using. Another time, Mariah was planning to do a slow duet with Ja Rule, but J-Lo managed to do one first before her. This was all arranged by Tommy behind the scenes. It got so bad that Mariah actually had to end her contract with Sony. In our 7th spot, we have Nick Cannon. Although the ex-pair share kids together, they still aren't on the best of terms. In an interview, Nick said that Mariah is still mad at him for some things that he has done in the past. Plus, just recently when Nick got in trouble for making anti-Semitic comments, Mariah threw shade at him through a social media post. On Instagram, she posted a photo of her dog and captioned it, "Life's rough." She posted this hours after Nick got blasted, so people were like, "Ooh, that's for sure shade towards him." In our 6th spot, we have Demi Lovato. According to Demi Lovato, Mariah Carey is rude, and that's why Demi doesn't like her. It started back in June of 2016. A meme was going around showing Mariah next to Ariana Grande. The photo was captioned "when you order it online versus when it arrives," suggesting that Ariana is nothing compared to Mariah. Well, Demi saw this and commented, "You got it the wrong way around, honey." Later, Demi provided an explanation for what they meant by this. Demi said, "Mariah is a legend and so talented, but constantly disses people. It's nasty the way she treats Jennifer. I'm afraid to say the woman is mean for no reason. Extremely talented? Yes. Superhuman? Possibly. Unnecessarily rude? Absolutely." Mariah didn't take this lightly and she played the whole "I don't know them" card, and then told Demi to introduce themselves and share their opinions face to face. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Jenny McCarthy. After Mariah Carey's New Year's Eve failed performance, actress Jenny McCarthy had much to say on her SiriusXM radio show. She went on to say that Mariah blaming the production company for her performance was incredibly insulting. Apparently, Mariah didn't even participate in soundcheck, where she could have tested out if everything was working properly, so that's on her. Furthermore, Jenny said, and I quote, "I mean, her voice is not there anymore. I don't believe there was a problem with her inner ears. I just don't. I think she used it as an excuse." You heard me correctly. Jenny thinks that Mariah was never going to be able to sing in the first place, so she made up excuses that her earpiece wasn't working. I'm not sure what Mariah said in response to that, but knowing her, she probably threw some shade right back at Jenny. Coming in our 4th spot, we have Christina Aguilera. In 2006, Christina Aguilera revealed to GQ an unpleasant experience she had with Mariah at a party. She said, and I quote, "One time we were at a party and I think she got really drunk, and she had some really derogatory things to say to me." That's not good. But of course, Mariah responded and threw a lot of shade back at Christina. Mariah said, "I had hoped that Christina was in a better place now than the last time I saw her, when she showed up uninvited at one of my parties and displayed questionable behavior." She continued on saying, "It is sad yet predictable that she would use my name at this time to reinvent past incidents for her promotional gain. It is in my heart to forgive and I will keep her in my prayers." Hot damn, Mariah. If you come for her, it's pretty clear that she's gonna just come right back at ya. In our third spot, we have Nicki Minaj. Mariah and Nicki's beef was very public. It happened when the two were judges together on American Idol Season 12. The two came for each other multiple times on the show. Multiple. But before the first episode even aired, two clips from the show surfaced online. One is a video where Nicki just snaps. She says, and I quote, "I told them I'm not putting up with her effing highness no more. I'm not gonna sit here every effing minute to have you come down and harass me every minute every day." So we already knew that having them as judges together was going to be juicy. Plus there were so many times throughout the season where the two would just make snarky remarks at each other. There even was a rumor going around that Nicki threatened Mariah with a gun, but Nicki and the producers denied these claims. In our second spot, we have Eminem. This feud seems so random, like Mariah and Eminem, like it's a random duo. It all started in 2002 when Eminem made reference to Mariah in his song Superman. In the song he says, and I quote, "What you trying to be, my new wife? What, you Mariah? Fly through twice." He continues on saying, "I beg Mariah to take me back." But according to Mariah, the two never dated or hooked up. She said they talked on the phone and hung out around 4 times. A year later, Mariah was on tour and parodied Eminem. In her song Clown, she has the lines, and I quote, "You should have never imitated We Were Lovers, when you know very well we never even touched each other." Then in 2005, Eminem responded by playing voicemails from Mariah. So on and so on, it just keeps going on. Eminem's all like, "Babe, we had something going on," and Mariah's like, "Nah, nice try." And in our number 1 spot, we have Jennifer Lopez, but we don't know her. This has to be the most famous Mariah feud of all time. It all started back in the early 2000s when Mariah was interviewed by a foreign TV station. One of the questions they asked was about several pop stars, her rivals, and what she thought about them. She begins with Beyonce and she says that she's nice and a good writer. When asked about Jennifer Lopez though, she says, "I don't know her." And that, my friends, is how the "I don't know her" Mariah meme was created. Over the years, the two have both subtly thrown shade at each other while still downplaying the feud.
At number 10, Eminem. What happens when one rapper crosses another? Well, a feud begins. We've seen this type of thing before with a number of rappers like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, Kanye West and Drake and Meek Mill, and just so many others. But another toxic duo we can include here is Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, because their feud has also been pretty big. It all started back all the way in 2012 when MGK was 22 and he tweeted about Eminem's then 16-year-old daughter Haley. MGK tweeted calling Haley hot in, quote, "the most respectful way possible because M is king." Now even though Kelly meant to be respectful, he still crossed the line with that tweet, and so a feud began. Because of this initial tweet, MGK's music got banned on the radio for a while, and as it would, it made him angry, especially with Eminem, so in 2018, MGK made a song with Tech Nine where he shaded the rapper, and then shortly after that, Eminem hit back with his own song shading his rival in return. From that point, it was just a lot of messy back and forth, talking trash about each other in interviews and in music. Really, at one point, this beef just kind of got exhausting, and people just started speculating that this feud was just fabricated because they're both signed to the same label. It's been pretty quiet between them since early 2020, so maybe this toxicity has subsided, but you can never really be too sure with these two. At number 9, Conor McGregor. Now this beef here is what got a lot of people scratching their heads because it seemed to have just come out of the blue, and it left a lot of us feeling a little confused. At the VMAs this year, while walking the red carpet, there was quite the altercation between MGK and Conor McGregor. The rapper was at the VMAs for a performance, and because he was up for an award, which he later won by the way, and Conor, well, he was just there for his buddy Bieber. Anyway, they were both on the red carpet at the beginning of the evening, and an altercation broke out. Based on some of the footage that was posted of the event, Conor appeared to have thrown a drink at MGK and then proceeded to try and fight him. It was really dramatic, and no one knows why the altercation even happened in the first place. twice. It was first rumored that they got into a fight because MGK refused to take a picture with McGregor, but the rapper later denied those allegations. It was such a bizarre situation that no one really has any answers for, but clearly there's some kind of bad blood there, so if anyone really knows why that is, please let me know. Now before I carry on talking about people who dislike Machine Gun Kelly, I would first like to take a quick moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because your engagement really does help the channel grow and we really appreciate your support. At number 8, Gabriel Rodriguez. Now this next story I'm going to tell you about is one that I had no idea about until my roommate told me about it, so shout out to Blake for being the real MVP and saving this list. Basically, there was an altercation between the rapper and his bodyguards and an actor by the name of Gabriel Rodriguez at a bar because Rodriguez was mad at MGK for that tweet about Eminem's daughter that I told you guys about earlier. After the actor harassed the rapper at the bar, he was soon kicked out, but he caught up to MGK and his crew later on that night. Still angry, the actor and MGK got into a verbal altercation, and then the actor said that he would fight the rapper's bodyguards, which is exactly what ended up happening. The actor got pummeled, and charges were filed against the bodyguards, but this man was really determined to get into the ring, so to speak, with MGK because he said that he would drop all charges if he could fight the rapper one-on-one. Either way, this matter was taken care of through a lawsuit and with monetary compensation, but I wouldn't be surprised if that actor still wants to fight Machine Gun Kelly. At number 7, Jeff Lewis. It seems like Machine Gun Kelly isn't just loud on stage, but also at home. You would think that he would put this loud rocker persona to rest while at home in his free time, but according to his neighbors, that couldn't be further from the truth. His neighbors have said that he's known to host loud and crazy parties, disturbing much of his community, and he's also known to have joyrides with his friends on the block. Neighbors have also complained about loud motorcycles revving their engines at inappropriate times of the night, and his guests have also spilled over into neighboring properties from time to time. It's also been reported that during parties, Kelly's guests have parked in neighbors' driveways and have blocked many of the neighbors' cars as well. It really seems as though he doesn't have a sense of respect for other people's properties or quiet hours. This all caused a feud between the rapper and his neighbor TV personality Jeff Lewis, who exposed Machine Gun Kelly for his nightly shenanigans. Luckily, they were able to bury the hatchet after the rapper bought Jeff a bottle of champagne as a truce, but what I really want to know is, did the shenanigans actually stop, or did Jeff just get over it for the sake of his frenemy? At number 6, G-Eazy. Okay, now that we've talked about some non-music related beefs with Machine Gun Kelly, let's circle back to this Eminem feud because this is where a lot of the hate really stems from. When it comes to feuds like this, you always see people taking sides, and so this is how MGK made some enemies along the way since a number of other artists sided with Eminem on this matter, including rapper G-Eazy, and this made things a little messy. See, G-Eazy already had a mild amount of hate for MGK after beach photos surfaced of MGK and Halsey spending the day together. At the time, Halsey and G-Eazy were on a break, but as far as G-Eazy was concerned, that was still his girl and Kelly crossed the line. So when this Eminem versus MGK stuff started to heat up, G-Eazy obviously sided with the opposition. As we all know by now though, rappers just can't let things rest, and so MGK did a freestyle rap during an interview and shaded G-Eazy, and then G-Eazy collabed back with his own diss track for MGK. You know, this back and forth rapper drama is incredibly exhausting. Between them fighting over Halsey and picking sides in a completely different fight, things got messy, but the bottom line here is that they really don't like each other. Get away from me, Fly. Don't make me square up with you. At number 5, Halsey. But speaking of Halsey, we can't forget to include her side of the narrative here. Tying into this beef with Jeezy and MGK, Halsey was sort of stuck in the middle of this. She sort of had two people fighting over them, just adding to the overall messiness of the feud. Though I wouldn't say that she downright hates Machine Gun Kelly, there was a point where she certainly wasn't impressed by the way that he was acting. Halsey responded to all the drama that was going on at the time by calling Machine Gun Kelly, quote, pathetic. This is in response to the claims that MGK made during an interview where he said that he had, quote, smashed Halsey after allegedly dating in 2017. This all seems to be water under the bridge now since MGK and Halsey collaborated on the song Forget Me Too that was released last year, but I'm going to assume that it took a little while for things to cool off between them before coming back together to work. At number 4, Miller McCormick. Machine Gun Kelly recently made a new enemy, and that enemy is Miller McCormick, the brother of the late Mac Miller. The rapper was set to start production on a new film titled Good News, but after facing criticism from McCormick, it was looking like the film would start production untitled. The film in question was supposed to be about an up-and-coming musician who struggled with deep-rooted personal issues and is inspired by a lot of young rappers' origin stories. Now, the problem that Miller McCormick had with this film in particular was the fact that the title was the same as the last song that was released by Mac Miller posthumously. That, combined with the strange similarity to Mac's life, just didn't sit right with him, and he had to make that known. McCormick seemed to criticize MGK's movie on his Instagram, where he said, quote, "F your movie, at least change the title." This sparked a number of others also calling for changes to the film, and this later reached producers who vowed to change the film's title. Now, we don't know if all of this similarity to Mac Miller was intentional or not, but either way, MGK got in some hot water and probably lost some respect from McCormick. At number 3, Corey Taylor. Recently, Machine Gun Kelly went through sort of a metamorphosis of music, so to speak, reinventing his sound. The rapper recently released an album that was more punk rock alternative sounding, and a lot of people had opinions on it. As they do. One person who really had nothing nice to say about MGK's new sound was Slipknot frontman Corey Taylor, as he shared his thoughts on artists in the rock genre in a recent interview. Essentially, Corey said that artists these days are ripping off their sound from other more original artists, and he also took a jab at MGK when he said, quote, "I hate the artists who failed in one genre and decided to go rock. I think he knows who he is, but that's another story. I'm the worst. I hate everything, and people are used to that with me though." That seemed like quite a loaded comment at MGK, and there was a lot of fury behind it as well. Either way, this new sound that MGK is working with really seems to be paying off for him, since he recently won a VMA for Best Alternative Video for his song My Ex's Best Friend, which is actually a banger if you haven't checked that one out already. At number 2, Summer Rae. Even though Machine Gun Kelly is thriving with his girlfriend Megan Fox, apparently there's some alleged drama surrounding their relationship and his former relationship with Instagram model Summer Rae. This influencer recently alleged that MGK cheated on her with Megan while he was away filming for the movie Midnight in the Switchgrass. That film set is where Megan and MGK first met. Summer, going into more detail, said, quote, "I don't really feel bad saying that because he did kind of cheat on me with Megan Fox if you look at the timeline." Summer also alleged that she had confronted Kelly about why she was told that she wasn't allowed to be on the set for one of his music videos. MGK said that it was because of COVID, but she later found out that it was because Megan was playing the rapper's love interest in the video. Overall, Summer was just left feeling a little betrayed at the end of it all, so I don't really blame her for having some kind of negative energy towards Machine Gun Kelly. And finally, at number 1, Brian Austin Green. Now, the one person who I feel would really hate Machine Gun Kelly the most is Megan Fox's ex-husband, Brian Austin Green. Although he tried to make people think that things are all fine and dandy with him, and that most of his hostility is more so directed to Megan, I feel like deep down there's still some hatred there for Kelly, since he's the one that Megan fell in love with first after him. Ever since Megan and Machine Gun Kelly went public with their relationship, Brian has spoken out about the relationship a few times, but a lot of people feel as though he's hiding his true feelings. In one interview, when asked about how he found out about the relationship, he gave very few details and simply said, quote, "I found out in my own way, and that's as much detail as I'll give you on that one." Something just isn't right there, but I feel as though in time his true feelings will come out, and I feel like it might be a little messy too.